Hi, this is Tony Ning here, and I'm going to give you another video today on how to create passive income and achieve financial freedom. This is episode 2 in my series, and without further ado, let's get started. Well, before we get started, let me just clear this up. You're going to probably sit there and wondering, well, why should I listen to this guy? He's not that very good looking. And so why should I listen to him? Well, basically, I've been a real estate broker for 29 years in Toronto, Canada, and I have helped a lot of investors achieve financial freedom and how to buy investment properties properly. And also, I personally have transacted in many personally myself. So without further ado, let me get right into my presentation. In episode 1, we talked about the book Rich Dad Kiyosaki. I highly recommend you reading this book if you haven't already. This man has made a fortune in real estate and other businesses, and he really has his principles down pat. And I believe if you get these principles right, it will really clear the way for you to achieve financial freedom. Okay, so let's get into his cash flow quadrant. I think I briefly touched upon this yesterday. This is really important to understand. If you look at the quadrant, it's divided into 4. There's E, S, B, and I. Okay, the E stands for employee, means you have a job. So if you're reporting to a boss and you're going in 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, or whatever hours that you work, whatever days that you work, but you have a job and it pays you a certain amount of money, that's what it is. It's a job. Okay, it's not going to get you to financial freedom very quickly. All right, so we want to take the shortcuts, don't we? Right? So if you have a path from here to, let's say I'm driving out of Florida, which I've done many times. I want to take the shortest path, don't you? So what I'm going to teach you here is how to take the shortest path to where you want to go. All right? If you want to take the long path, you can probably get there. You may never get there, but I really adhere to the idea that taking the shorter path is always the better way. All right. So if you have a job, it's probably the slowest path to financial freedom. All right. Now you could become self-employed. For instance, myself, I'm self-employed. I'm a real estate broker. I'm self-employed. I don't have a job. I don't have a boss. Well, actually, I'm my own boss. So I'm probably the worst boss out there for myself, to be honest with you, because I'm always pushing myself to do work when I don't want to do work. All right. But being self-employed means that you own a job. Okay. Again, it's a little bit better than having a job, but owning a job still doesn't get to my goal of reaching financial freedom as quickly as I would want it to. All right. So these two are not the ideal places to be. If you're in these places right now, if you have a job or you own a job, I highly suggest you get into the other side of the quadrant. And this is what Robert Kiyosaki in Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about. The first of the quadrant is business owner. Being a business owner, you own a system that works for you. Underline the word system. System is really important. You have a system. Like McDonald's is a system. All right? You want to have a system that will work for you. What that means is that if you have a system working for you, and let's say you took a year off, your income doesn't suffer because you're creating passive income for yourself. All right? Whereas over here, if you took a year off, you're going to be in trouble, I think. Most of us, I know I would be, okay? So here is not the best position to be in. Here, these two are the best positions to be in if you want to achieve financial freedom. Now, the other one is be an investor, making money work for you. Like Warren Buffett, for instance. Warren Buffett makes his money works for him. He invests in stocks and bonds. And there are a lot of people like Donald Trump that invest in real estate, okay? This is where you make your money work for you. And I'm going to explore these two quadrants, okay? And explain to you how you can make the best use of those two parts of the cash flow quadrant. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. We're going to cover I first, and then I'll cover B second, okay? So I is investor. In my opinion, there's nothing better than real estate, okay? I know there's people that argue like Warren Buffett, but you know what? He's one of the rare birds out there that knows what he's doing. But investor, for the average guy, even if you don't know that much about what you're doing, if you bought a piece of real estate, say 10, 15, 20 years ago, I guarantee you will make money today, depending on the location, of course, okay? I'm assuming that you bought into an okay location, okay? Guarantee you. Properties in our area have gone up substantially in the last 20 20 years. I can tell you one of the properties I bought back in 1985. I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, but it was below $100,000 in Toronto at that time. Okay, and that particular house is worth 10 to 11 times more than the value of what it was back in 1985. All right, and I can go on and on, but you know what, do the research in your hometown and you'll know what I'm talking about. If you own a piece of property for 10, 15, 20 years, you made money. All right, if you own stocks for the last 15, 20 years, I don't know, you might have made money, you might have lost a lot of money. If you invested in BlackBerry or RIM, you probably lost money. I had a client that lost about $80,000 investing in RIM. So I'm giving you the advice based on what I know, and if you think you know better, by all means go and venture into what you think is better. But here it is. Here's the facts, and these are people that actually made money based on my advice. Okay, so before you go before you go jump around and start buying investment properties, here are some things that you need to consider. Okay, and I call it the laces. Okay, before you go out, you wear your shoes. And you want to tie up your laces, okay? If you don't tie up your laces, what's going to happen? You're going to trip and fall. So I want you to tie up your laces when it comes to buying real estate investment properties. And what does it stand for? Okay, well, here we go. L stands for leverage and location. A stands for appreciation. C stands for cash flow. E stands for equity build. And S stands for sheltering from taxations. I'm going to go back into the laces in more detail, but let me talk about the other side of the coin, and that's for people that want to invest in stocks and they think stocks are better. I disagree wholeheartedly, and in my 29 years of real estate experience as a real estate broker, I can tell you that I would not invest in stocks the way I would invest in real estate. That's my opinion, okay, and you're more than welcome to disagree. So let's talk about stocks. Stocks has very little to no leverage, and we're going to talk about that in a second, okay? Appreciation. Is it really appreciation? Can you guarantee it's going to go up? I don't think so. It's more of a gamble. You hit it at the right time, and you hit it when, you know, it's hot, you can make a lot of money. You know, people in the dot-com boom made a lot of money buying, buying stocks in technology. Now, not so much. Not so easy. Sure, if you got in at the beginning of Microsoft, got the beginning of Amazon or even Apple computers, yeah, you made a lot of money. There's no question about it. But, you know, it's more of a gamble, and you kind of got lucky, all right? C, cash flow. Yeah, you can make some dividends. Some stocks pay dividends, but most of them don't. And the dividends that you do get from these stocks are very small, and you can't really live off that, okay? E, for equity build, yeah. There's a little bit of equity build called compounding. In other words, if your stock's doing well, let's say you invested $10,000 and you made 10%, so now it's $11,000, and you're going to be earning your interest based on 11,000 instead of 10,000. So that's a compounding effect. But once again, for less sophisticated investors, compounding is, you know, it's not guaranteed either. I mean, your stocks could go to the floor tomorrow. So once again, it's a bit of a gamble. Don't let anybody fool you. Stocks is a gamble. All right, that's my opinion. So you can disagree if you want. Sheltering tax, S for sheltering, tax sheltering under capital gains. Yeah, depending on where you live and all that. There, in Canada, there's capital gains where you're not taxed on 50% of your gains. So there's some tax sheltering there, but not as. But when I tell you about this tax sheltering in real estate, this is going to floor you. All right, let's talk about real estate. So let's get back to L for leverage and location. Okay, what does leverage mean? Well, you know what? Have you ever seen those cartoons where somebody has like what do you call those, teeter-totter things? They put the rock on a certain part of the fulcrum, they call it. Anyways. You could with this teeter-totter, you could move a gigantic boulder, okay? Whereas if you try to do it by hand, it's almost impossible. So leverage is really important. What does it mean, leverage in real estate? Well, let's say you have, okay, let's use an example for sake of mathematics, okay? Let's just use a house that's $100,000, okay? Depending on where you live, $100,000 for a house is probably still realistic. All right, I can think of many places where I can purchase a home for $100,000. Not in Toronto, not in New York, not in London, not in Hong Kong, not in some of these major cities. I get it. But there are some cities out there you can still buy a house for $100,000. But for the sake of mathematics, let's use $100,000, okay? And let's say you could purchase that house with, all right, let's be conservative, 20% down. I can show you how to purchase a house with less money down, but say 20% down. So you get $20,000. Let's say you have $20,000 in your hand and you're leveraging a house of $100,000, okay? With stocks, you invest that $20,000, you're going to get a return based on $20,000. Let's say it went up 10% in stock. Oh, let's say it went up 5%, okay? 5%, so on $20,000, you made what? $1,000 profit? Not too bad. If you got lucky, that's a pretty good return on your money. Okay, so on $20,000 you make $1,000. Okay, now in real estate, if you have the $20,000, you're leveraging a property of $100,000. You're not getting a return on your $20,000, are you? If real estate went up 5%, which it often does in where I'm living, that means your property went up $5,000 because it's based on $100,000, not based on what you put in. You put in 20, but you made a return based on the house value of $100,000, which is 5% is $5,000, okay, versus $1,000 in stocks, okay? So $5,000 on your $20,000, what's that? That's 25% return on your money. That's leverage. That's what real estate can do for you, okay? All right, I won't go into too much detail over leverage. If you want to contact me and learn more about this, my email address will be provided to you. No problems, no charge. I'd be more than happy to help you out, okay? As far as location goes, okay, buying location is important, okay? The old motto, location, location, location. Yes, it's still true, but I'm going to show you something that I believe when it comes to investment properties, even more important than location, location, location. This is different than what every guru's told you out there, okay? And I'm going to prove it to you, all right? But before I get into that, let's talk about appreciation, okay? Now, what can you do about appreciation? Now, the housing market, yes, it goes up and goes down, but you know what? If you look at the long term, okay, let's go back 20 years, okay? I challenge you to find a property that didn't appreciate in the last 20 years. I don't care where you live. I challenge you to find that. Now, is it possible that they didn't appreciate? Yes, it's possible. Okay, every location and economy is different, okay? But I would say in the majority of locations, prices have gone up in the last 20 years, all right? Now, the other thing that you can do with appreciation is you could call what we call forced appreciation. What does that mean? That means you go in there and renovate the place. How many of you seen these shows on TV where they took a house that needs renovation, renovated it, and resold it for like 3-4 times the money they paid for it? That's called forced appreciation. You can't do that with stocks. You buy a piece of paper or something, you know, and that's it. That's it. You got a piece of paper. You can't fix a piece of paper. You bought $20,000 worth of stocks. You can't fix it up to make it worth $30,000 next month. It's impossible. Okay, but with real estate, you can do that. You can buy a piece of property that needs a lot of fixing up. Okay, we call these people rehabs. You know, they refinish them, refurbish them, and they sell it for more money. That's called forced appreciation. So if you bought a house for $100,000 that needed a lot of work, and so you put $20,000 of work into it, that house might sell for $150, might sell for $200. I don't know, but you know what? The chances of it selling for more than what you paid for it is probably 90% to 95%. Okay, that's what we call forced appreciation. And if appreciation doesn't work very well in your location for whatever reason, guess what? You can live in it, right? It's nice to have a house to live in. You can't live in a stock, right? You'll be homeless. Okay, so it's good to have a house that you can live in. You can use it, right? So you're not going to lose, right? And this is what's going to prevent you from losing in real estate. And this is something that I've taught my investors, and the ones that listen to me have flourished. Okay, and the ones that don't, guess what? They ran into difficulties, and some of them actually lost money in the bad times. Okay, yes, you could lose money in real estate. There's no question about it. You know, don't let anybody tell you that you can't lose money in real estate. If you don't know what you're doing, you can lose money. But here is the one thing that I teach all the people that buy real estate. Okay, cash flow. You know what? I'm going to fix this. I'm going to put something else in there. Okay, and that is you need to have positive cash flow. Positive cash flow, okay? Anytime you see a property that you want to invest in, I'm going to tell you this right now, okay? Print it on your hands, print it on your forehead. I don't care. You better have positive cash flow, because when things get rough, that positive cash flow is going to save your butt. All right? So, okay. There's two types of investors out there. Some that want to play the appreciation, okay? So they're going to, or forced appreciation. They're going to buy a house in a really nice, posh location. They're going to fix it up, and they're going to flip it, okay? That's flipping. Now, that's a form of gambling, in my opinion, and you can do it successfully. I've done it myself, okay? So you can force appreciate, flip it, or you buy into a good location. It may be worth $100,000 today, but next week or next month, wow! There's nothing on the market, and you can get $200,000 because the location is so strong. That works, but I'm talking about people that want to get into this on a long-term basis. If you're thinking long-term, you better think positive cash flow. All right? And what does that mean? Positive cash flow means that after you pay all your debts, your mortgage, your property taxes, the insurance, if you're covering the utilities, all those things, okay, and maybe even a little bit of maintenance, okay, after all those things are factored into, you still have a positive cash flow. What does that mean? In layman terms, let's say your mortgage was $1,000 and your property taxes were $200 and your insurance was $100 and your utilities were $300. Whatever that adds up to, I'm going to say $1,500 because I don't want to do the math right now. Say your monthly expenses were $1,500. You better have more than $1,500 to cover. All right. I personally like to use the number of $500. $500 per month. That means that every month I'm going to get $2,000 to cover my $1,500. So I get $500 extra, which is about $6,000 a year to offset any unexpected expenses, like vacancies, right? A tenant moves out, you got to go in there and maybe paint the place and move another tenant in. That's going to cost you money. Like maybe the roof needs repairs, or maybe the furnace, air conditioning needs repairs. Maybe the fence got blown down. Whatever. Okay, any of those things is going to cost you some money. Now I got a $6,000 buffer. If I don't use that year, that's great, because next year I'll have $12,000, and next year I'll have $18,000, and so on and so forth. Okay, don't spend that money. Put that money away for a rainy day. Okay, now if you're looking to create a retirement of $500, okay, per month, positive cash flow, and you own 6 properties, that's $3,000, right? We talked about this yesterday. If your total expenses was $3,000 going out, buy 6 investment properties. Now you reach financial freedom. Those $3,000 coming in positively from your cash flow will offset your personal expenses, right? That's one way of creating financial freedom. I know people that own 10, 15, 20 properties out there, and they have positive cash flows on them, and they have reached financial freedom because of that. Okay, so anyways, you got my email. Email me if you need some help. Okay. The next one I want to cover is equity build. Okay, people don't realize. Okay, when you buy a house, this is also important for people that purchase homes, because you know what, your mortgage payments are usually higher than rent payments. Let's say you buy a property and your mortgage payment is $2,000. Okay, in the area that I live, $2,000 is really not a whole lot of money to purchase a property. But say your monthly payment was $2,000. Okay, did you realize that part of that goes towards paying off your mortgage? Probably, I would say, without doing a calculation, probably maybe $400 or $500 per month is going towards paying down your mortgage. Okay, and that is important, because really you're paying $1,500 in interest, and the other $500 is your savings, right? So you can go rent a place for $1,800 and get nothing back for it in 25 years, or you could purchase a property and have it paid for in 25, 30, 40 years, depending on how you set up your mortgage payments, right? So that is important. That is really important. And in investment properties, you're having your tenants help you pay down your mortgage. So let's say you're getting, okay, I can give you an example. One of the properties that we own, it's generating about $500 positive cash flow. Okay, so, and there's another $500 going towards paying the mortgage down. Okay, so let's say in another 10-15 years time it's going to be paid for. Okay, so the monthly payments that we're getting from these properties is about $2,500 a month. Okay, so right now there's a mortgage on it, right? So you're only benefiting from, say, $500 of the cash flow. Maybe I'm losing you there. Okay, so anyways, to make a long story short, what I'm trying to say is, when your mortgage is paid off, whatever rental income you have coming in from that property is all clear and clean money. In other words, you don't have to own 6 properties. Every one property generating $3,000 a month income and is paid for with no mortgages, guess what? You're pretty much clearing $3,000 a month, which is your financial freedom if your expenses are $3,000 a month. Anyways, every situation is different and every situation has to be catered to. So once again, I'm going to leave my email down below so that you can contact me if you want. Okay, and once again, my advice to you is going to be free of charge. All right. Now, the next what I want to cover is shelter from taxation. Okay, and I can only speak about real estate in Ontario, Canada, because this is really my neck of the woods. In Canada, you could buy a property, what we call principal residence. If you live in it, it doesn't matter. You could have paid $100,000 for it 25, 30 years ago, maybe 50 years ago, whatever your age is, and now it's worth $1 million, let's say. Okay, when you sell that home, because you lived in it for $1 million, you do not pay taxes on that $1 million. That is phenomenal. Okay, now I know in the States they don't have that program, but they can write off their expenses, whereas in our principal home you can't, right? But the trade-off is that we can sell a home that you lived in free from taxation. All right. Now, does this apply to investment properties? No. If you own a home already that you're living in and you want to buy a couple of investment properties, no, you will not be sheltered from taxation. Okay. And here's something I'm going to tell you that no real estate agent is going to tell you. Okay, because they don't make money when you don't sell. Right? Don't sell your property. Right? I shouldn't be telling you this, but I'm just an honest guy, so I'm going to tell you what's good. Don't sell your property. Honestly, don't sell your property, because when you sell your property, whatever you made on the property, half of it is subject to capital gains. At least where I'm living, 50% subject to capital gains. So let's say you sold it and you made $100,000, $50,000 will come into your income stream. Okay, and you have to pay tax on the $50,000 based on the taxation rate that you're at. Okay. On the other side of the coin is, if you have equity in property, borrow the money out. When you borrow the money out, increase your mortgage, guess what? You're not paying on that borrowed money. That money is free for you. You can take a trip on it, you can buy a new car, you can do whatever you want. And your tenants are still paying towards your debt, so it's not really, you're not really paying for it out of your pocket, but that money is free for you to use, right? What I highly suggest to you is take that money and buy another property. Right, and that's how these guys get filthy rich. That's how, that's what Donald Trump does. That's what these people do. They don't go around selling property. How many properties do you think Donald Trump sells? He doesn't sell them. They refinance them. They take the money out and they use that money to buy something else. And guess what? On that money, you don't pay any taxes. Okay. So, anyways, you can see I'm getting a little excited about this, but that's real estate in a nutshell. I can go on and on and on, but I don't want to take up too much time on this video, because I want to talk about the other side of the quadrant, and that is the business side. Okay, business side is owning a system that works for you. Okay, now some of you say, well, I have a business. I'm a plumber or whatever. I have a business. Do you really have a business? Do you have a system in place for you? Okay. Right? When I talk about a business, kind of like McDonald's, okay? And I'm going to prove to you that system works, okay? McDonald's, they sell a lot of hamburgers, right? Let me ask you a question. Do you think you can make a better hamburger at home than McDonald's can make? I know I can, okay, with my eyes closed, all right? McDonald's hamburgers are not that great. They're sort of edible, but I hope I don't get in trouble with McDonald's for saying this, but I hope you agree with my philosophy here. They're not the best hamburgers in the world, okay? And yet, they sell more hamburgers than anyone in the world. And why is that? Ask your question. You don't have the best product. You can't even beat somebody making it from home. How can you have so many people purchasing your hamburgers and it working out. Well, one of the reasons is because I talked to my wife about this the other day. She said, well, because it's convenient. You don't feel like cooking. You just want to go on and grab something quick. Go to McDonald's and grab a burger, okay, or whatever franchise fast food that you prefer to go to. All right. So and that goes for Starbucks. That goes for all these companies out there. Why are they so successful? Ask yourself. Okay, it's because they have a system. A franchising system. Everything is done in a certain fashion that has been created to be successful. Okay, for you to get into business, you could bang your head against the wall. Okay, if you and I decided, let's get together and open up a hamburger franchise, what do you a hamburger restaurant? What are the chances of us succeeding, you think? I don't know anything about hamburgers or how to make a franchise work, how to run that kind of business. I don't, and you probably don't either. What are the chances? Probably very low, okay? But if we had the money and the resources to go and buy a McDonald's, what do you think? Do you think our chances of succeeding has increased? I think so. I mean, there's a lot of franchises out there that if you drop your money into, and if you qualify for it, I think you'll find the success rates pretty high in a lot of cases. So when you're looking for a business, okay, don't try and reinvent the wheel. Try and get into a system. You may have to pay some money to buy a system. Like, people buy McDonald's. It's not cheap to buy McDonald's, okay? But there's people lining up for them, right? It's not cheap to buy Starbucks, but people are lining up for them. Why are they lining up, right? Because the system works. So don't try and be cheap, okay? And not buy into the system. Instead, be an investor. Have an investor frame of mind. I want a system. I want to create financial freedom, and I need to own a system. Okay, as you can see here, based on Robert Saki, you need to own a system that works for you. Okay, and I'm going to help you out. I'm going to give you a shortcut because I've been searching high and low for something that's going to work for me, and I found the Holy Grail, in my opinion, anyways. And you can disagree with me if you want, but anyways, I've done a lot of due diligence on it. And I will leave a link on below for you to check it out if you want. Okay, what is important in the business quadrant? As far as I'm concerned, PRESDO. Okay, why PRESDO? Well, P stands for passive income. You have to get into a system where it's passive. Where, in other words, if I took a year off, will I still be making a good income or enough income to support my lifestyle? That is important to me, and it should be important to you. So if you're looking at certain businesses, check that out. Passive income. Does it have passive income potential? All right. If it doesn't, stay away from it. Once again, my opinion. Okay. These are all my opinions. So, you can disagree with me if you want. Okay. Number 2, R replaces my income. Right. We talked about this on episode 1. If your expenses are $3,000, right, you want to at least have $3,000 coming in to replace your income. That way you can quit your job. Right, you can stop being an employee. You can stop being self-employed, and you could reap the benefits of being financially free. Okay, make sense? All right. And number 3 is easier to do. You need something that is easy to do, because if it's hard to do, most people don't do it. All right. And what McDonald's has done is made it easier, a lot easier for somebody to step into the system. Right. Buy McDonald's. We'll teach you. We'll show you. And this is what you do. This is everything we do. We help train your employees. We help show you how to make the hamburgers. And we show you how to make the French fries. We show you how to make everything. We show you how to make money. And guess what? We'll even help you bring the traffic, bring the people to your McDonald's franchise. Right? And S is a system. You need a system. You need a system. We talked about that already. Okay, you need a system. You own a system that works for you. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. You need a system. Okay, so you have to buy into a system like a franchise. Okay. D stands for duplicatable. It's got to be duplicatable. It's got to be something that like you want to be like McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's is all about duplication. All right, and if it's not duplicatable, at some point in time, it's got to stop. And you don't want to stop, because once you generate the income, you want that income to continue coming in so that you can enjoy your freedom lifestyle. All right, make sense? Okay. And the other one, this is really for me more than anybody else. It's got to be online. Okay. Why do I say that? For real estate, you sort of have to buy a property. You have to go take a look at it. You have to rent it out to tenants, and you have to reap the tenant income, and so on and so forth. and you really have to have someone manage it, if you don't do it yourself, to look after the property, okay? Well, that kind of restricts this is just my opinion, it kind of restricts where I can live in the world. If I've got 10 or 15 properties sitting here in my neck of the woods, for me to leave and take a year off and go someplace else, it's a little bit challenging, not impossible, it's a little bit challenging, okay? So I like to have a business, okay? If I'm going for a business, okay, I want a business that allows me to work anywhere in the world. And that's important to me. Why is that important to me? So I can travel. I could be anywhere. I could be in the Caribbean islands and work this business. I could be taking a trip to Paris or England, anywhere in the world. Okay, I'm not even gonna go there. Okay, anywhere in the world. You want to go to Hawaii? Go to Hawaii. You want to go to California? If you don't live there already, go to California. Wherever you want to go, wherever your heart is, you know, you can work anywhere in the world, and that's important to me. And so, if you're looking for a business, I highly suggest that you incorporate this into your strategy. Okay, and I call it PRESDO. Okay. This works out that way. No, actually, I kind of tweaked it, so it worked out that way. Anyways, I'm not gonna take any more time. I hope you're getting something good out of this. If you're interested in joining up with me in business, I urge you to go to www.incometip.tk. If you want to get a hold of me for whatever reason, regarding passive income and how to become financially free. If you want to ask me questions about real estate, investment properties, etc., or maybe this business that I'm going to share with you, okay, then email me at incometip@gmail.com. And right now, I have time to probably help maybe 5 individuals become financially free, where I will actually coach you and give you become your mentor, okay, and to teach you and show you how you can achieve financial freedom. All right, so if you believe in me and you like what I'm telling you, join me. Go to www.incometip.tk, send me an email, let me know what you think, okay? And if you're interested in going forward and getting into the next level and having someone with a lot of experience helping, coaching, and teaching you, then please take me up on that, and I'll be more than happy to meet with you. Okay? So I hope you got some benefit out of this. I enjoy doing these videos. I enjoy helping people, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you shortly. All right, so as usual, peace out and have yourself a great one.